What's up, gang? Let's take a look at Nvidia stock. Right now, we're taking a look at the weekly candles, and I want to look at this stock not for a potential investment, but for a potential trade. So we're going to be diving into the technicals. We're going to do a technical analysis on NVDA. So let's get started. The first thing is, as you can see by this stock on this weekly candle, was that we had support right around here at $100, let's say. And the prior all-time high was around $350. Nvidia, since this time right here, which was back in October of 2022, so less than 1 year's time, has gone from around $100 and it broke past $500. That's peak to trough. Peak is $500, trough $100. This is a huge move, and if we were to measure this move, you would be shocked by the kind of returns Nvidia has witnessed. Nvidia has gone 300 over 350% in less than 1 year's time. So needless to say, the stock has had a ton of momentum, and that momentum is actually good for a potential trade. So basically what we need to understand here is that the prior all-time high, which should be strong support if we were to retest that level, is at around $350 a share. But I also want to point out how Nvidia responded or acted when it approached that prior all-time high in this run. Now these are weekly candles, and every candle represents a week. And as you can see, Nvidia broke that resistance in 1 week's time and hasn't retested it. If I turn on my drawings, you can see that right here is now support. But I also have it highlighted here as an earnings gap. If we hop into the daily chart, it's going to be more clear. So here we are. This is the daily chart. And notice how there's all this open space right here. Well, that's because when Nvidia reported earnings, it moved up in pre-market hours and then it held above those levels and never retested them in a market session. Now, if we zoom out, here's your prior all-time high. Now, what does this mean? Well, it could mean that Nvidia is going to retest those levels because a lot of times gaps are filled. But when we take a look at the shorter trend, we can see that there's this clear, well-defined upward channel. It's an upward channel because if you look at the lows, we're setting higher lows. This low was right here at around $346 a share, and this low was right here at around $400 a share. We're also setting higher highs. Notice how the peaks are increasing in value, and the all-time high was right here at $502.62. Now, where are we currently in this channel? Well, we're right in the middle, and we just hit the peak, so the next logical move would be to retest this level. Now, I don't like getting into trades when a stock is in the middle of a channel because anything can happen. But logically, where I think Nvidia is going to head to next is lower to retest this channel, and that's not necessarily a trade. Now, if we get confirmation that this trend line is holding and you see a nice bounce and good price action, then yes, maybe it makes sense to get into a trade on Nvidia to retest the upper trend line. Now that retest is actually going to be a nice move because Nvidia has a lot of volatility. You're looking at 20-25% from lower trend line to the upper trend line. So that's one potential trade for Nvidia. The other potential trade is if Nvidia breaks below this trend line and then we set a double bottom. The double bottom's right here. This, if it breaks below this line, which is set by this candle right here. If Nvidia was to break below this line, which is at $402.75, and hold below that line for a couple days, that puts this earnings gap back into play. Now, this earnings gap is a significant move to the downside. If we draw this lower trend line here, and we go from if we draw this horizontal line here indicating where support is, and we go from that level to support, you can see that it's a negative 20% move on Nvidia. Now, from the current levels, if you want to be aggressive and take that move now, it's a negative 30% move on Nvidia. That's significant, and with momentum being the way it is and how the market is pricing Nvidia, puts are going to be cheaper than calls on this stock. That's just because so many people are bullish on Nvidia and think it's going to go much higher in the future. I like this move to the downside because I think we're going to get additional levels of confirmation when that does happen, if it happens. The levels of confirmation that we're going to get is obviously that support has been broken, but we're also likely going to be below 50 on the RSI, which indicates more downward momentum on the daily chart. I also like it because if we turn on the exponential moving average and we look where the 200-day exponential moving average is, that's going to put us right around our support, which is around $325. I also like it because if we continue to see some downward momentum on Nvidia and the stock to come down in price, we're going to get a crossover of the 13 EMA and 26 EMA, which is another indicator of bearish movement. As you can see, the 13 EMA is the purple line and the 26 EMA is the orange line. And when we had that crossover with the purple line being on top, the stock went on a run. But if we get that crossover with the purple line dipping below the orange line, that is a potential indicator that the stock is going to move down. I mean, if we go back on the daily chart and we look for that last crossover, here it is. You can see that the stock went down. It crossed over here, went up again, crossed over again, went down, crossed over, went up, crossover, went up, and it's been above since then. We didn't really have a crossover here. We had a very slight one, but then it moved up. It's just an indicator. It's not always going to work, but it's just an additional level of confidence or confirmation or an additional indicator that is suggesting that our trade is going to be correct. And one other thing that we can look at is on the daily chart, there is a gap here that could be filled. That will help us to get back to that lower trend line where we can either get into trade 1 or trade 2 depending on what happens next. So nevertheless, Nvidia right now is not a good potential trade in my personal opinion, but it could very well be a fantastic trade in the next couple of days or the next couple of weeks. If you want to be notified when I enter into the trade and what trade I enter into, then join the private Discord. A link is in the video description. Outside of that, comment down below on what you think is going to happen with Nvidia. And if you like the brokerage that I'm using in this video, there's an affiliate link in the video description. Check it out. This is WEBULL. And you can get a bunch of free stocks, free money by using that affiliate link. If you do open an account, deposit $100 so this channel is rewarded as well. Outside of that, I'll catch you on the next video. It's been real, it's been fun, it's been real fun, and this is We Are Investing, and I'm out. See ya.